Hello, my fellow aviators and my beloved mechanics. Welcome to a new series that I'm starting, and it's called American Patriot, the 3% Bring Change. Now, where am I getting this 3% from? Well, I'm getting that from our American Revolution. You see, on our American Revolution, 60% of the people could care less. They didn't care if England ruled us or if we became our own nation. Then 20% of us were Tories. That meant that they were in support of the English government keeping control of us and the British Crown ruling over us. That left only 20% of the American population at the time in support of us breaking away and becoming what would become the greatest nation on the face of the earth. Now, 20% is an awful small number. But then you look at, it was only 3% that did all the fighting. 3% beat England, which at the time was the major military superpower. We look around now and we see our prosperity. We see our freedom. It's all owned to the 3%. So with that in mind, I would like to ask for the 3% of you flight training students to come forward. We don't need everybody. We just need 3%. Now, what could we do with this 3%? We could demand reform of the FAA. We could change the artificial roadblocks that have been placed in your way that are stopping you from becoming a pilot. Now, what's going on here? Because you guys kind of get the feeling that you're being screwed, and you are. You do your research, you find out that the airlines are having a shortage of pilots. This is true. And that the salaries are quite high, anywhere from $200,000 a year to $400,000 a year to be a pilot. These salaries are being paid to those in the cockpit. So with that in mind, you run off to the flight schools. You sign up for $100,000 to $200,000 worth of student loan debt, which you cannot bankrupt, and it follows you for the rest of your life. So now you're working very hard, taking hard courses in that airplane, hot days, and then in the freezing cold, and touch and goes, short fields, and approaches down to minimum. You're doing the work. You're paying the money. But then you look at the people ahead of you and you start realizing no one's getting hired. There's no path forward for you. The roadblocks that are keeping you out of the cockpit is the 1,500-hour rule. This adds nothing to safety. This was just put in artificially to just, fix a problem. It actually comes from the Buffalo, New York crash, which I'll do an article on the 1,500-hour rule and how it came about. But it was actually put into place by people that didn't know anything about aviation. They were just looking for a quick fix. Hey, we had a plane go down in Buffalo, New York, took out a whole neighborhood. That's horrible. We got to fix it. Okay, everybody for the airlines has to have an ATP. They didn't even know it took 1,500 hours to become an ATP. So with that being said, all of a sudden it became a regulation. And then for some reason, the FAA and everybody acts like it's a law that cannot be changed. It can be changed just like that. And that would reduce your suffering and allow many of you to apply for the airlines who need you. Another thing that's coming up that's keeping you guys out of the cockpit is the insurance companies, which is one of my favorite flight patches. I got to get to this article writing it too. But the insurance companies behind the scenes have been telling us corporate pilots and the 135 operators that you need 1,000 hours before you can be hired as a first officer or a co-pilot. You're at a flight school with 300 hours. How are you going to make 700 hours after you just spent $100K to $200K getting 300 hours? The answer is you're not. You're all being told to become CFIs, and that's the way to get your hours. There's not enough jobs out there for all of you to become CFIs and to make it. There just isn't. Another thing that's harming you young guys that I've seen from having a flight school for 30 years is that the DPEs, or the ones conducting the check rides, are charging $1,500 to $2,500 for a 4-hour check ride. And then it's taking months for you to even schedule it because the FAA is keeping the number of designated pilot examiners very low to just keep their workload down. But they don't care about you. No one cares. First aviation phraseology you need to learn. No one cares. So I'm saying that if we had our own congressional support, we could easily have the CFIs do the check rides. This would knock down the cost to $500, and you would have an examiner or a CFI right there at your airport to do it. Another thing that I would like to have happen when we have the congressional support is get the FAA out of doing the Part 135 operations. Get them completely out of it. They've completely weaponized this and destroyed charter operations in America. We have thousands of vacant airports just sitting there and no charter operations because of the FAA turning this regulation not into something practical like it was planned to be, but just a weapon that they can use against us aviators. With that being changed, we could have a couple, maybe even more, operators at each airport, and this would mean thousands, tens of thousands of flying jobs for you new pilots and increase the safety of travel for our American public. Now, how do we get this done? Well, it's going to take the 3%. 3% of you need to join me. You need to become who you are going to be. Put on your first officer uniform now. Come with me and talk to the American public. Tell them of your desire to keep them safe, to take care of them and their loved ones and their families as they travel through what are sometimes very hostile skies. They're on your side. They want you to win. The American public loves their pilots, but we just need to get out there and ask them for their help. Now I'm going out and contacting the people that are running for Congress. Erskine Levy right here is one of them. He's made his #1 platform taking care of us pilots, fixing all these things for you. Many of the other congressmen and women that I talk to, they're on board too. So we have the support, but we need to tell our future congressmen what we need from them. Because right now, the ones that are in office don't seem to care. They don't want to go up against the FAA. They don't want to do anything controversial. They're no good to us. So I'm looking at the new congressmen and women coming up that we could get elected. On these elections, most congressional races are only won or lost by 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 votes. With us out there campaigning for our congressmen and women that want to support us, we could easily get these people elected and we can affect change. We can change the FAA and not rely on them to just turn over a new leaf and support us pilots and aircraft mechanics. So now with that being said, please, if you'd like to be the 3%, and this flight pledge, it's not for sale. It's only for those that I will give these patches to those people that get involved, that bring about positive change. So let me know if you'd like to become part of the 3% and get out there and make your aviation career happen. Because right now, you're screwed. It's not going to happen. And you know it. In the back of your mind, you know it. But now you're being told, and now you're being told what you can do to fix it. Because no matter how hard you work at the airport, doesn't matter one bit. Unless we get congressional support and change these things, you're dead in the water. And then you're just looking at 1 to 2 dead-end jobs for most all of your life, repaying the student loan back. That's crushing. So with that being said, I look forward to hearing from you guys. Just email me at rmriter@aol.com. And I look forward to your comments on this video, and I look forward to working with you to make sure that you have the same rewarding and wonderful 30-year career that I was able to have. I want to see you be able to have that as well. So with that being said, I'd like to say peace, God bless, keep flying speed.